Yeah, so welcome everyone to this session on what we're calling your path to professionalism, certification, credentials, and launching your coaching career. If you're here and you're able to, it would be great if you can have camera on, ideally, so we know that you're here. But of course, please stay on mute. And yeah, what we're going to do is we are going to be dedicating this session to exploring the experience of some of our somanauts, our graduates here at the Somatic School, and drawing on their experience, their wisdom from their own journey with regard to their own coaching practice, and how they have undertaken the journey to being credentialed with the International Coaching Federation as a result of taking part in the Somatic Schools training. So I'll be the host for this discussion. My name's Sam Taylor. I'm head of training at the Somatic School. I'm also the director of education, which is an official ICF title. My role is to ensure that our course meets the ICF's requirements, and that all of our training is at that level. So, of course, we're not directly representing the International Coaching Federation today, but what we'll be doing is drawing on our panel members' experience and their own stories. And this is one of the things that we pride ourselves on the most at the Somatic School, which is our amazing community of participants and graduates. So in a moment, our panel members are going to introduce themselves. Before we do that, just to say, if this is the first of your sessions that you've attended for Planet Somatic, you will be getting a link with all the previous recordings very soon, and they'll also be going on the website, I believe, Meryl. So that will be going out very soon after the event. You'll be able to catch up on all the sessions. And if questions come up for you during the discussion, please feel free to add them into the chat. We won't be able to use this session as a direct troubleshooting of your own specific situation in terms of credentialing and so forth. But if you want to hear more about that, and if you want to ask those questions, you're welcome to bring them to our Introduction to Body-Oriented Coaching interactive session, which is at 9 p.m. UK time today, or there is another one at 2 p.m. on the 8th of September 2025. And we'll also have a slide at the end with contact details. Okay, so maybe we just kick off by hearing from our panel. I'll call you out in turn, and it'd be lovely just to hear a little bit about you, when you took the Somatic School training, where you're based, and just a little something on where you're at in your coaching journey. So I am going to come to Serenella first, if you're open to it. So a little introduction, a little something about you, where you're based, and where you are in your coaching journey.
Hi everyone. I'm Serenella. I'm based in Italy. I'm a PCC coach and ICF mentor coach. Specifically, I'm a career transition and leadership coach. And when I joined the school, I already was a PCC, but then I will tell you why I joined the school. I work with both companies and individuals and support people in their major transitions, in their moment of change, in their shift of identities, and with their personal branding. And today I integrate body, mind, and purpose thanks to the Somatic School.
Thanks to you, Serenella. That's great. Elena, you're next. Thank you very much.
you. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Elena. I'm German, but I'm based in Portugal, my favorite country. And I did the training with the Somatic school last year. So starting, 2024, last year. And I'm a Somatic coach. I got my ACC credential, and I'm also a yoga teacher, shiatsu practitioner, Reiki healer. And I was an architect in my former life in a very stressful work environment, which is the whole reason why I'm here today as a coach, because I needed to make a really big life deconstruction leap back in 2020 when I was suffering from severe anxiety and really close to burnout, I think. So I made this bit of a life experience to see what happens when I quit all these kind of safety boxes that I had around me, job, relationship, home, to find out what it's like to live with freedom and agency. So here I am. I made it through. I survived that, and I'm now focusing my work as a coach and also weaving together my other modalities from yoga and TCM and movement to help career transitioners from the other side of the transition, knowing what it's like. Yeah, similar to what Cernella has said, knowing what it's like to having to go through all these changes. And so, yeah, I bring in my skills now to build resiliency and to find a voice basically in all the noise that's going on in the world nowadays. Yeah, and somatic coaching helps me actually.
Well, we're really glad you're here with us, Helena. Thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing from you and all your experiences. Mihaela, you're next on our panel here, so over to you.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm really glad to be here today, and I would love to see more of your faces, more of your lovely faces, because hey, this is somatic coaching, so sending more vibes towards us is gonna make this conversation even more meaningful. I am based in Bucharest, Romania, currently traveling to Greece, so calling in from Greece. I've taken my somatic certification back in 2022, and also this year, hey Claire, nice to see you on camera, thank you. And this year I also completed my body-oriented group coaching certification, which was a wonderful experience. I am also certified as a performance coach and as a team coach, which have been kind of separate certifications to the somatic school. I am ACC with ICF. And I kind of blend the coaching practice with a full-time job currently as a leadership development manager in an IT company. And I also, just like Elena, I also blend different modalities because I am also, I sporadically or from time to time teach dance courses. So I really love to bring that in as well. I love Vipassana meditation. So I also bring some of those principles in there, radical honesty. So it's a lot of, kind of bits and pieces that I bring into my practice. What else? And where I am with my practice right now, well, I'm very happy that currently I have found my niche, which I have been searching for quite some time. And my desire is to support millennials navigate midlife crisis.
Awesome. Oh, exciting. Fantastic, Mihaela. Look forward to hearing about that as well. Yes, let's go to Clementine, our fourth panelist. So let's hear from you now, Clementine.
So hello everyone, I'm really glad and grateful to be here with you all today and to hear already from the others about their own journey, even though I already heard a little bit before you, but you are discovering it now. So I am French, I'm based in Switzerland, in Bern, and I was originally ACC before I joined the somatic school. I joined also, like Elena, in 2024, part of the mentor array. We have beautiful names when we joined the Somatic school. So I was part of this cohort. And so I did together at the same time then the PCC as I was doing the Somatic school. And I work self-employed as a coach, trauma-informed somatic coach. I don't remember if I mentioned I'm PCC, and I also I'm a yoga teacher on the side, so I also do some yoga classes in the city, trauma-informed yoga classes, and I'm a corporate trainer, and I train on different topics such as resilience and mindfulness. So also blending the different knowledges to accompany and support employees in the companies. And I mostly work in the coaching together with professionals, caring professionals, and sensitive leaders who often feel really stretched by all the different expectations with who they want to be and what is expected of them, and supporting them in taking steps that feel aligned with who they are at their core, and reconnecting to themselves. So I think like when I joined the Somatic school, like what really drew me to this, because it's really a specific choice to come to the Somatic school, and as some of you mentioned, it's also connected to life experiences, and also at some point really close to burnout, and to in this moment reconnecting to myself and realizing how much our body can carry, and how much sometimes forgetting about our body can lead to really big impact for ourselves. For me, I lost part of my vision because of the too much accumulated stress, and that really in this moment brought me back to realizing how much our body is holding, and to go into this direction, so that also in the coaching I could support also people in reconnecting to themselves, which sometimes can get forgotten in this hecticness of life and of professional and at the workplace demand that is there for us. And so I'm really grateful that I had this opportunity to be with the Somatic school, and from all what we've been learning and experiencing mostly throughout this journey.
Wonderful, Clementine. I love that. So thank you everyone for sharing. And so we'll see we've got a different range of contexts, different range of backgrounds, different credentials, a couple of PCCs. Serenella on your way to MCC, I believe. Elena and Mihaela ACC, right? And so whilst there's diversity of background and experience, what we really appreciate about all of the panel is this kind of pioneering spirit of wanting to work within the established and reputable framework of the ICF, which is obviously the world's foremost regulatory coaching body, but to do so in a somatic way, or in a body-oriented way. So we really aim to be true to coaching, true to somatics, and we believe the two are totally complementary. So we're going to get into a panel discussion very shortly, but before that, I'm just going to show a couple of slides, because if you're hearing these letters, ACC, PCC, maybe you're wondering what that is. So just to place us in terms of a common understanding around these terms. So the ICF, you'll be hearing us talk a lot about the ICF today. This is the world's leading professional body for coaches, and it sets global standards, ethical guidelines, and credentialing pathways for professional coaches. So it's the stamp of being a professional coach. There are other regulatory bodies as well who are also playing an important role in the space, but the ICF is the best known. And for that reason, also the best known, maybe the most impactful in the global space. And the ICF has a system of what is called credentials, and basically these are badges. So you might not see this because I'm small on your screen, but there are different badges: ACC, PCC, and what this is a stamp of recognition from the coaching profession. It's the basis upon which you can have essentially letters after your name as a professional coach. And these badges show that you've met rigorous standards in training, mentoring, coaching practice. So you've got ACC, which is available for after 100 hours of practice. That's Associate Certified Coach, and already a very significant level of credential that sets you apart from the rest of the coaching market. We've got PCC, Professional Certified Coach, and most coaches never go beyond this, really. And this is the level at which the Somatic School's training is set at. And then you've got the Master Certified Coach, which is the highest level of recognition after a few thousand hours of practice. So all you need to know really is that a level 2 program, such as the one offered by the Somatic School, prepares you all the way through to PCC level. Once you graduate from the program, once you have your hours, you can sit a multiple choice exam, and that's how you receive this designation of ACC or PCC based on this training. Hopefully that makes sense. But if you have any questions or I've lost you, please do put it in the chat so that we can attune to that. And if you have any questions at any point, please do put them in the chat as well. So we will start with our panel discussion, which will go, I think, for another 30 minutes, and then there'll be about 10 minutes for a Q&A at the end, further Q&A for if there is anything here in the chat. I'm going to throw this first question back to Serenella and Elena. Serenella first. And the question is, Serenella, we'd love to hear what you were looking for when you were exploring the coach training market. And what helped you make your decision about where to go?
Okay. So when I joined the school in 2023, I was already a PCC. So I was not looking for another coaching training, even if after 15 years, it is important to have a refresh for sure. But what I wanted was a somatic training. I was looking for this, and a somatic training within the ICF framework, because I operated in the ICF framework, but also something practical and something that I could use right away for me and for my clients. And I had two reasons. The first one was very personal. I needed to connect more with my body. And honestly, I never knew how to do it. It was a magic box, but I didn't know how. And the second one was a professional reason, because during pandemic, the pandemic, I quickly realized that everything was changing, not only for us as people, because we were going through a traumatic event, but also in the coaching industry. And so I understood that clients wanted more depth, more meaning, and it was no longer enough to talk about, to focus on mind, on performance, on goals. We needed something more to integrate, and that was the body. And in that exact moment, I was at a crossroad. I was thinking to prepare myself for the MCC credential, or to follow this new intuitive road, the somatic coaching. So I did a visualization with my coach at that time. And when I picture the somatic path, my body completely shifted. My posture, become vertical, more aligned, and I felt the difference. And that was the answer. The day after, I called the school. That's the real story. And now I can tell you, I think this could be useful for you, that my plan for next year is to prepare for the MCC credential. But I know that all this work that I have done with the school on somatic, all this work on presence, on energy, on sensitivity, is exactly what an MCC coach needs. And so is goal.
Wonderful. So an alignment there in the end. This has come back into alignment. That's such a wonderful experience, Serenella.
Exactly.
Truly a somatic approach to your decision making.
Yeah. Before the school. Incredible.
Great. Thank you so much. Let's go to Elena. Yeah, what about you? When you were looking for coach training, what was happening for you? What helped you make your decision?
So I can link a little bit to what Serenella said about the intuitive process. Because I feel like when I tell the story about how I selected the coaching, I need to also tell the story why I even got there, because as I was still, and I'll make it short for everyone's sake, but as I was still employed as an architect, I thought, oh, you always think in directions, right? Where am I going with this? And for the longest time, I never questioned, oh, okay, I did my bachelor, I did my master, now I'm an architect, now I get accredited, certified as an architect. And then through that work, I realized, oh gosh, life made it for me that I could not actually maintain that direction because it was really, really toxic for me. So I studied yoga. So I thought, okay, I need to find something that helps me work with people instead of making homes for them, in my case. So I studied yoga, I studied movement, and I noticed, oh, the more I took many trainings in yoga, and the more depth I add to my yoga classes, the more experience, the more people started coming to me after class, wanting to share personal stories, wanting to share how something I said touched them. And I felt, oh, wow, this is very intimate. I need to now add something in that direction that gives me the skills and the tools to hold people's stories and to touch, to work with this touch. So I did a shiatsu training, which is a touch and acupressure training, and I realized, oh, good, now I feel confident in the one-on-one space, and I feel confident to touch, literally get in touch with the person. And then I found the people that are under my hands started talking, and they started sharing and they started expressing emotions, and I had tears on the table. And again, another challenge for me to go like, wow, how do I hold this now? So that is how I naturally came towards this craving to find a qualification, a skill, a training that gives me tools to now fully hold a person in all their expressions of truth, in the movement, in the conversation, in the touch. So I already knew that, coming from where I was coming from, that it needs to be somatic, something somatic. So I almost took a year, I think, to finally decide on the somatic school, really scanning all the options from breath work to so many lovely offerings out there. And the somatic school, I feel, stood out to me because of this level 2, because of the level 2 certification. Because for me, thinking, wow, I came such a long way from completely leaving a different profession behind me, that I really like the idea of having another career in front of me. Like, oh, this is a new direction. I can already see how this will lead me to the next depth and to the next, it kind of has a pathway. So that really spoke to me. And I think that made the choice, that and just the gut feeling, of course, like Serenella said as well. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, so there was something about the level 2 that resonated from some of your previous aptitude for certification and all of that, that structure as well.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, that's really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. And we're going to go to the next question, which really is a build on this first question. And the next question I'll be offering to Mihaela and Clementine. And that question is, in your experience, what's the importance of receiving an ICF credential? Given, Mihaela, you got yours after the training, Clementine, you already had yours, but you're already working in that space. So in your experience, what's the importance? But you've then got your PCC, haven't you, Clementine? So you've since then got your PCC. So Mihaela, coming to you, what's your sense of it? What's the value and importance of an ICF credential?
Yeah. So it's quite interesting because for me, taking my ICF was never really an option. Like I always thought that I would take my ICF eventually. I just didn't know exactly when. And it's quite interesting because I immediately, like as Elena was saying, like she saw this, oh, this is an opportunity to switch to do it as a career, like from the start for me it was like this is a career path, like coaching, and maybe because I also come from the training facilitation space and so on. So maybe for me it was almost like an add-on, let's say, to my skill set. But it was it was kind of a way to go. But what's more interesting is that within my company, because I said that I also have this full-time job, we do have a couple of certified coaches. And, I did mention, hey, like I'm also taking a certification. I would like to contribute or, to be part of some of the coaching that is happening across the organization. And there was actually a requirement put in place that, whoever does any coaching within the company would need to hold an ICF credential. So that's the moment when it became even more important for me. And this was just to clarify, it was more from the company's perspective, more as a way to standardize or to ensure that whoever is receiving coaching has some kind of consistent experience, right? Because you don't know, like there are so many courses out there, each of them has a different approach and so on. So what the ICF does, or what is the benefit from the company's perspective, is that it adds this level of consistency that the person would experience, because of course, the way you would do it is according to those standards. So this was for me one of the biggest benefits. And then of course I think it's also a matter of credibility. So of course there are coaches who call themselves coaches, although they've never done a coaching course before or don't even really know what coaching is. And then there's also clients who have no idea what coaching really is. I even had like recent conversations with some friends who are like, so what is really coaching? Like, how do you define it, or how is it different to, other stuff and so on? So I always love these kind of conversations and the fact that people are interested in this, but there's also a level of, I feel, confusion out there in the market from the client side, either companies or individuals and so on, when they are looking to work with a coach, like who actually does what and how do I know a coach is a good coach? So for me, the ICF credentialing is also almost like a proof, that I'm that I'm legit, and that I'm also upholding a certain standard of guiding and the way I'm actually delivering in this profession. So that's it for me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mihaela. And it reminds me that for those who work on directories or coaching apps, coaching marketplaces, the credential is a requirement these days as well.
Right. Yeah.
For the same reason that you share, right? That usually now to get into most purchasing arrangements with companies, that's the requirement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Clementine, how about you? What's your sense of the importance of an ICF credential?
Yeah, so I think like Michaela already like said a lot about it, but I really join exactly what you mentioned in terms of yeah, there's so many, as she said, there's so many different trainings out there, all over the place, and people might not even need sometimes to have a training to call themselves a coach. And I feel like with the ICF and the potential and the possibility, sorry, to be able to get this credential and to follow accredited education, this really, you know, allows us to show that there is a certain level behind it. There is something that has been approved, that has been accredited, that follows a certain standard by an organization, which the ICF is globally present, and that allows this kind of regulation in a market that is kind of, yeah, I mean, unregulated, but they try to put some standards so that we can really define what coaching is. And because, yeah, coaching is not about just giving advice or I'm going to tell you exactly what you have to do. I know your life. I know what is your problem and how to solve it. No, it's completely a different experience. And I totally join Michaela in that sense that people sometimes get confused with all what is there. And it's also by joining or by being with the ICF or following ICF-accredited education that it's trying to also bring back what is actually coaching about, and to yeah, to be as a coach also like following this yeah, level of way of how we coach and how we hold space for a person, and also respecting boundaries between what is coaching, what becomes more in the realm of therapy, and not going into territories that are not also our scope. It's also being able to then knowing when to refer people when it's not anymore really our position here to be able to coach people, because that can happen sometimes also that we slide into different places. And it's about also from that being able to create a safe space for people that we can hold them in that coaching, evolution, discovery, and so on. And as you said, Sam, for the platforms, indeed, that's most of them are requiring you to have an ICF or AMCC accredited training and credential, mostly credential, and most of them as of PCC. But for example, I got with one of them already with the ACC, but an ICF credential is with most of them necessary, because again, it's kind of shows you have followed a program that has been reviewed and accredited by a certain body, and you're not coming out of nowhere, and you follow certain standard and ethics. So that's, yeah, a gauge, I don't know what's the word in English, gauge of quality and the ethics that you uphold by being with the ICF.
Yeah, wonderful. And we'll get to exploring how somatics fits within that, right? That you can have both sides, the robustness and the credibility of the framework, and also working with that more emergent kind of body wisdom way as well. Great. Well, just staying then in the more kind of commercial or business side of things. We'll come back to you, Elena, and then Serenella. What impact have you seen for your business from certifying and from getting a credential in this way?
Yeah, again, that links really well to what Clementine had just shared. What really stood out, for me, was this piece of integrity that we can bring. And I can speak from my personal experience as someone who has completely, and I think it's true for many coaches, who completely transition from a completely different career to the world of coaching, and having the responsibility to hold and to work with humans in very intimate ways. It was really my backbone, actually, for my own confidence to start with, and my own voice that could even just emerge, because I felt like, yes, I have a training from an accredited school, to start with, and then the path towards ACC, while it felt a bit like sometimes a bit strenuous and a bit stressful almost to go through this, oh gosh, again, now I need to prove my coaching hours, I need to submit my my coaching recording and all of that. It all felt very test-like and reminded me a little bit of that world that I actually wanted to leave behind. But I understood that in that lies also the challenge of just coining a professional way and an ethical way of showing up. And I think it's really important, especially in the field of somatic coaching and our work that is still quite in the emerging stages. And we are still amongst the first waves of coaches who come through, who bring a different standard to the coaching world and to the healing world, and maybe still need that more time for this and more consistency for building this credibility. And I think it's our responsibility in that sense to come and to bring this professionalism. And I have really, for someone who has started this new career completely from scratch almost, I've seen really, like, I was really surprised how quickly my credibility, and I can see it in the way how clients come in to me and how they approach me, has risen really quickly. And I think it's also part to the fact that I have this backbone, and I can always refer back to, yes, I have a regulatory body, and it's in my title, it's in my whole image as a coach. And yeah, I think it has really boosted my my visibility as well.
Nice, Elena, thank you so much. Curious to hear your perspective on it, Serenella.
Yes, I can only add some more words, because my colleagues explained perfectly the reality. What can I say? That getting the PCC means you are serious about coaching.
Yeah.
All the market knows this, and ACC is great. It gives you skills, all the basics, useful for HR, managing teams, perfect. But when you are a PCC, you are on another. This takes you further. Okay, more credibility, better positioning, better fees. And more corporate opportunities. For example, I received some on LinkedIn, some requests of collaborations because I had some certifications, some tools, exactly. And also the private clients, if they are corporate clients, they feel that there is the same language, that you know the basics of some ethical standards and quality, and because maybe they have received coaching inside their career path in the company. And there's another thing, maybe I can tell that it's also important for your marketing because you know exactly which are the words of a coach and which are the words of a consultant or a counselor. So verbs are different: supporting, helping. You know exactly. You have confidence, you have clarity, and you move with a different posture, and this helps you.
Yeah, thank you, Serenella. And maybe we'll come back to that. Claudia's put a question in the chat around referrals and understanding how we come to understand when a referral is appropriate. So maybe we can come back to that in the Q&A. It's a great question. I'd love to bring us onto the field of somatics. So how do the ICF core competencies, the ICF model, and the code of ethics fit with a somatic approach? Clementine, maybe this one to you first, then Mihaela.
Yeah, and I think like the somatic school and all of what we gain in this training really brings us such a deeper way of approaching coaching, because most of the let's say in a traditional, let's say, way of coaching, we are a lot focused on what is above the surface, what is cognitively being said. And through this training, we really learn to connect much deeper, to be able to attune and to listen in a different way with when we are in that space with people. We not only listen to what is being said, but we can also develop this sense into also, yeah, sensing the shifts in energy, noticing the shifts in movement, or the subtle voice change, and being able to mirror that to people, to reflect them what is there without holding any judgment, but offering that back to them. And inquiring what is their experience. And sometimes when we allow that, we bring light to that inner experience, I have seen that it can really bring up much deeper and sometimes contradictory things to what is being said on the cognitive and, I want to do this. And then when we inquire a little bit more and realize, okay, it seems like there is something in the voice. What are you noticing there when you stay with that sensation? And maybe then something comes up and it's like, well, actually, it doesn't really feel like it's me. So it can really bring up like a different awareness. And I think like when it comes to also the ICF, it's about being able to coach not just the problem of what is there, but the whole person as they are. And that includes also like their whole inner experience, the sensation, the wisdom that their body is holding. So I feel like in the somatic school and all the different ways of listening and practices that we learn and also experience ourselves, it really allows us to tap into a kind of a deeper experience for the people, and also while respecting their autonomy, their choice, we offer them those reflections and connection with their body, and they may explore it. They may say, I'm not ready for it, but we are here respecting their own journey, which is also following the ICF and the way of how we see the coaching. We see people as resourceful. We acknowledge their autonomy, their choice, and we're able to just intuitively connect to that and share it to that space in the coaching. Yes, so I think this is for me what's the biggest thing I see. It's like how when we sometimes tap into the body, how we can uncover such a deeper, maybe more authentic or truthful or part of us that needs to be heard and wants to express itself. And sometimes we have to compromise both and look at both what is being said here and what is being said there, and what those parts may need to be together or to support each other. And I think it's absolutely beautiful what looking into the body can allow us to do. And also, I think last thing I would like to add is about also the way of how we can support people in regulating themselves also when sometimes, because when working with the body, it can also bring up quite some strong emotions. And it's also about this capacity that throughout the training, we also develop to be with our own emotions as we also practice. There is a lot of experimental practices in the training. And so as we do that, we also can support people in their experience when also there are bigger emotions coming up in regulating themselves. So yeah, that's what is coming up, but I'm sure there is more to be said. That's
really nice. Thank you. I'll offer this to Mihaela so you can build on what Clementine has shared and offer your perspective.
Yeah, well, actually, because Clementine did such a wonderful job to you know, kind of bringing in examples of how you know, the different competencies work together. I'm gonna bring a different angle, and I'm gonna share from my team coaching certification experience. So the team coaching certification I took has been led, like the instructors are 3 of them, and all of them are MCC level and ACTC. ACTC is basically the credentialing for team coaches. And they are also 3 of the people who have written the competencies for team coaching for ICF. So so there it's basically you're you know, learning directly from the gods, as you would say. And it was quite interesting to notice, like in the course, like some of the peers that I had were people who had way more, you know, coaching experience under their belt, like 10+ years, and you know, like leading working with the executives and stuff like that. And I really remember this moment when at some point, like, you know, we were looking through the ICF competencies, and one of the instructors said something like, well, you can see, you know, in the competencies, there's a lot that the team coach needs to notice. And imagine that, of course, in a team coaching setup, the noticing is exponential, right? Because you notice not just the individual, but also the connections between the people and all of this. And we also did some exercises to, you know, to help us to really tune in and attune to the space, to notice, you know, these subtleties and so on. And I just noticed how easy it was for me. And I was like, yeah, I've done this already. Like, I know this. This is the stuff I love. And for some of the people who had, you know, all of these years under the bed, they were like, wow, this is so powerful and so interesting. And it was almost like they would discover a completely different world. And I that was the moment when I realized, oh, actually, you know, like this somatic approach, I think I can remember exactly who said, like, it's almost like the MCC level stuff, you know, that we are already learning, you know, from day one, and that it's just taking you in a much further direction as a coach, and it helps you deepen so much the practice, and yeah, like be aware on a completely different level. So yeah, I just wanted to share this little story with you because it was very impactful for me, and I think like this is very telling of the value that the Somatic School is bringing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one thought comes to mind, Haley, is how the more towards the MCC level, it's more and more about presence,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's a lot of what we're training at the Somatic School, isn't it? And my sense of it is it also makes coaching a lot more fun to be in that
Yes.
place. You know, what's your feeling?
And to that, Sam, if I may add something, when I actually took my ACC credentialing, I actually felt like I need to dial down on this stuff. And I was like, oh no, but it's like, but it's so much more, as you say, fun and interesting and so much more valuable, you know, like to do less, to really do less, but in a meaningful way. Whereas with the ACC level, I felt like, oh, I need to tick this box and this box and this box. It felt like I'm adding stuff, which are not really all that necessary really for the experience of the client, but they are of course meaningful, and they do speak about those competencies and code of ethics and all that stuff, you know, so it's super important to have them. It's just the experience, you know, as once you go through the somatic, it's almost like you can skip ACC, you know, in a way, like with the skills that you acquire.
Yeah, and maybe it speaks a little bit to what Elena said about there's a little aspect of, you know, submitting a recording, which is kind of strenuous, and in some respects, maybe that's a good thing, that you have to essentially demonstrate you have incorporated all the basics. But for many, there is a sense of, yeah, that's I'm having to think more when I'm coaching, as opposed to just naturally embody the competencies, which is what we aim for in the training. So Claudia has a question which is around referral, and specifically referring to therapy. And I guess I'm curious, I've got many thoughts, but I'm curious what your thoughts are. Maybe Serenella, anyone else who feels to share on this. What framework are you? What framework firstly did you learn from the Somatic School, and what does the ICF say about this? If you're open to going for it, Serenella or someone else.
If not, I can go.
Go for
Yeah,
it,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I need to be honest because I'm not sure that it's exactly the same structure of the course since I took it, but we did have this trauma-informed webinar part of the course. That's where we also learned about all, like it was very specific on this part of how do you discern when are you actually coaching and when do you need to refer, differentiating, understanding the different the different reactions of the body, and when are they in ventral vagal, in the polyvagal theory, basically, if you're familiar with its level. So when is the nervous system actually in a shutdown, for example, and that is, when probably you would need to refer, and so on. So it was a very specific piece of the training that addressed this, and to me it was completely, like mind-blowing at that time, and it was so helpful to put things into context and to ensure, because to be honest, like I felt like the somatic techniques are so powerful sometimes that I did fear, like I did have this fear, and maybe Claudia, you have that as well. Like, but what if, I don't know, what if I touch something, like really important, or, I re-traumatize someone? I don't want to do that. So having those conversations and that specific piece of training was super helpful for me personally to understand, okay, this is what we work with, and this is not what we work with, and this is how you address it in a session and how you raise it with the client as well, so that it's again in a gentle way, and it supports them in whatever journey they are, and wherever you meet them, wherever they are in that experience. Hope that's helpful.
Yeah, it's great. And just to add to that, so since Mihaela took the course, we have module 3, resource and regulate, which is entirely directed towards what regulated enough looks like. So one of the things I think that defines the coaching approach is the core competencies. There's the code of ethics, and with the ICF exam, you are assessed on referral pathways and on when to refer. But even beyond that, there's so much emerging understanding about dysregulation, tracking dysregulation, and essentially when our clients haven't got enough resource, they're not sufficiently regulated enough per polyvagal theory, then we don't coach. Then it's really a relational process of coming back into attunement, coming back into regulation, and only working when there's enough capacity. And that capacity becomes fairly clear. If progress is not being made, then as in any coaching arrangement, we're looking for fairly quick shifts. If that's not happening, then it's an obvious time to look at referring on to therapy. And that's something that we uphold and celebrate as well. And in the coaching model is done in a kind of partnering way as well. Hopefully that works as a response. Claudia gives you a bit of an insight into that. Meryl, I'm wondering about our timing here, whether we have time for one more question to the panel. You know me, I like to go over time, so mostly we're about 5 minutes, but yeah.
Well, we can agree to run on, but it sounds like that would happen because we've only got 3 minutes, and we do have some wrap up bits to do.
Well, maybe is that a yes or is that a no? Is that a no? So
It feels more like a no. But are there any questions? Maybe if anybody has an extra question, they could pop it in the chat.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
we could do the wrap up, and then if anybody wants to stay on to tackle that question that's in the chat, then that's their choice.
Halfway house. So let's put the slide up. I want to say thank you, first of all, to our panel, Serenella, Elena, Mihaela, and Clementine. Thank you so much for your shares. It felt like really we only scratched the surface. There could have been so much more to explore together, but personally, I was really touched by your wisdom and experiences. So thank you also for those in the space for joining us at this session today. And just to say that there are 2 more sessions remaining in this summit. In 30 minutes, there's another panel discussion on diverse bodies, diverse practices in the Americas. That's at 7:30 p.m. UK time. And again, a panel of somatic coaches will be discussing their experience of translating and bringing body-oriented coaching to where they are based across the Americas. So for that, please stay at this Zoom link. And if you're interested in training with us, please come along to a free introduction to body-oriented coaching session if you haven't done so. But also please schedule a call with Caro, who's here, by scanning the QR code. The invitation is there. And to say that we have a very special offer for anyone who enrolls within 7 days. Was it 14 days, Meryl?
14 days.
Okay. Within 14 days of this conference, you get something like £1,250 worth of additional training and support. The body-oriented group coaching course, which Mihaela mentioned, and also 4 one-to-one supervision sessions. So that's all for now. See you again, and see you all again very soon. Yeah, me too, Mihaela. Shall we stop the recording, Meryl? Because I'm not host, you have to stop that.
Oh yeah, sure. Unless anybody, yeah. Hang on a minute.
And of course, yeah.
We did